The whole of the mainstream media across the Western world is changing, with Tucker Carlson leaving Fox News, Don Lemon gets fired by CNN, and the French media going through a shake-up. Okay, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? The mainstream media, of course, the dinosaurs who've been running the analog world over the last few decades, they are leaving the game. They are being ousted. But at the same time, with the rise of new media and channels like mine and many others, that has created a bit of a challenge for the mainstream, for the old school legacy media. But inside the surviving outlets like Fox News and technically CNN, there's been a bit of a change for different reasons. The French media have already been going through a shakeup, which we talked about. Even in this country, the creation of GB News obviously didn't really help the narrative for Sky and BBC. But now, especially when it comes to what happened yesterday in America, Tucker Carlson, because he clashed with the Fox News leadership and Don Lemon for different reasons, very, very different reasons, he was actually fired directly. Technically, they both essentially got sacked, but they're different on very different levels. It makes you think about various things. Firstly, Tucker Carlson, his last words on Friday, a few days ago, didn't really give any indication that he would not be returning on Monday, because he actually said, we'll be back on Monday. So I can imagine that obviously was also a bit of a surprise to him. And whatever happened throughout the weekend, we will find out more information about the saga with Tucker Carlson. But with Don Lemon, obviously, it's been going on for the past few months, and CNN want to save face, and it's not going to work. Firstly, this is a statement from Don Lemon, which is a bit chaotic, which makes you think, in this fight, both sides are bad, CNN and Lemon. He said, I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought that someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given any indication that I would not be able to continue to do the work I have loved at the network. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play. With that said, I want to thank my colleagues and the many teams I have worked with for an incredible run. They are the most talented journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best. Yeah, you're drunk. You need to go home, Don. They're not really that talented. So we know the media is changing. We know they're all panicking, and the whole chaos with getting rid of some good voices and some talented faces like Tucker Carlson, that is going to backfire on Fox News, obviously. The share prices have already collapsed. That aside, the whole game is changing. We are here. This is the rise of new media. Even when they got rid of people like Megyn Kelly, she went and started her own podcast, and she's getting more viewers and listeners than TV channels. This is not the first time something like this has happened. We've seen the rise of Daily Wire in America with Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, and obviously Jordan Peterson and many others parts of that team completely dominating that space. We've had even the rise of channels like mine. We are the media. We are becoming, obviously, we are currently the leading online news channel in the UK. We get more viewers than the rest of the mainstream media, from Sky News, Channel 4 to GB News and Talk TV and ITV and everybody else. And this is the reality. It's changing. And we are here, and we are staying here, and we will fight back against any of the old dinosaurs trying to come back and reclaim the throne. Because we are here to serve the public, unlike you guys who have your own vested interests to look after. Things are changing, and I think they're changing for good. Even though the departure of Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon are very different things. What the French media have been going through for the past few years, that's a whole different game. And it's happening across the Western world. But, and in this country with GB News, the main point is, they don't realize that it's changing. And even those who have realized it's changing in the mainstream media, they don't know why it's changing, and they don't know why they're losing viewership. It's because you lost touch. It's because the mask is slipping. People know that they're not getting the truth from you. They're not getting objectivity from you. You're getting the illusion of impartiality. In reality, you have your own bias that comes out every 10 minutes during every single report. We've covered so many stories on this channel, including earlier today. We talked about a Labour politician, Charlotte Nichols, an MP, and her campaign manager been under investigation, going to court over electoral fraud. Where was the last time you heard about any of this in the mainstream media? See? That's the issue. Where was all the coverage of the lockdown days, where the mainstream media and journalists were going out there talking to politicians and the government, instead of asking them, are you sure about these lockdown policies? Their questions were, why not earlier? Why didn't you do a lockdown earlier? They were supporting lockdowns. They were supporting every measure instead of actually holding the power to account. That's the problem. They became the mouthpiece of the establishment because they are the establishment. Doesn't matter. TV is dead because we are the media.